It's actually morning this time. I woke up like an hour ago. Um, and sure, let's just call it that. I had received a message yesterday. Yesterday. Um, okay. Perfect timing for this song. Genuinely. Anxiety by Dochi. But yeah, I had gotten a message in a dream yesterday. Except for it wasn't necessarily a message, but it was something that I definitely wanted to talk about. And I was gonna save it for OSS, but I felt called to do it today. Um why I didn't do it yesterday, I just feel like I needed to just sit and process with it. Um but in this dream, I also had a lot. Also, if I start talking about like dreams a whole lot more, it's because um my cycle has started. I so my dreams are more vivid, even though I can't entirely remember them. Sorry, but I yesterday was kind of like a rest day because like I wanted to keep up with going outside, spending like an hour at least in the sun, um, and getting my vitamin C. But but yesterday was rainy. Yeah, so everything was wet. So I just stayed inside and I still worked out. I got a little workout in. But anyway, so in this dream, I was I was in a class setting, kind of. Um, and there was like this PowerPoint slide that one of the teachers was doing this time. I was about to say, what have I ever learned from a man? Um, I said that in a previous video, but like this time, the teacher was male. The teacher was a male teacher, um, and it was a slideshow, and it was like a slide, but yeah, it was a slideshow, and it was like I don't remember what like brand it was, but it was just like all these pictures of like brands and like overproduced stuff. Um, and the slideshow, it just had one major question with those images, and it was just, what is consumerism? Um, and so I had to write that down when I woke up. That's not even where the dream ended, but that was what stuck out to me. Um, because like no one else in the class had raised their hand, and then I raised my hand to answer. Um, and then I got interrupted twice while I was giving my answer. Um, but even though I was interrupted, it was still like things that I was saying. So I was mostly just annoyed that they were it's because they didn't raise their hand. It's just like you're talking over me when you weren't called to whatever. If you wanted to answer so bad, then you should have just freaking answered. But like, no, it had to go and talk over me. Anyway, so I don't remember what I answered to the question, but it wasn't necessarily about like what is consumerism that did factor into it, but it was more of like the images based off of like with the backing of that question, because it was basically about like how quality of like expensive things has gone like down, and they're just basically just regurgitating stuff and throwing it out because people will still buy it is the thing. um so I was kind of commenting on that, about how society has forced us to consume garbage basically in order to fit in. um and how it is a deeper sense of, it goes even deeper into a sense of like loneliness and trying, try that, because like in everything we try to seek community, and in order to find, and we find community through clothing these days, and which has always been a thing, but like now it's like more of a statement. Nope, that's a lie. Clothing has always been quite a statement because it is in artistic expression, and anything artistic is political. It is inherently political. But the thing about becoming, just not knowing what to do with yourself, and the push and drive towards like this independency, it goes straight back to honestly my lesson of the dependence of independency, where because we are pushed to be these independent creatures, which is honestly completely against our nature, um then we search for alternatives, and inside a capitalistic society, the only way where you could still find community amongst people is by becoming a consumer. um and it also kind of factors in with the last video that I made, where I was talking about like how I was starting this little series with the seven deadly sins and stuff like that, and basically they could be divided into two categories, which is insecurity and uh, indulgence, right? um like how pride is insecurity, but then things like lust and gluttony are indulgence, right? Well, gluttony could, I think both, they factor into both, honestly. Um, both indulgence based off of insecurity. Well, some of them are like more insecurity forward, more indulgence forward. Um, like gluttony, it could happen from, food scarcity and indulging in food. And not to hate, no hate towards her, because I honestly love her videos. But one of the YouTubers I watch, Side Loves Frogs, and she has said that she wants to like work through and get over this issue of like having that scarcity mindset. Because the thing is, like, when there's food in front of her, which I do also kind of have this problem, not gonna lie. um but when there is food in front of her, it's like she has to finish it, because it's like, oh, when will I get this again? um and honestly, it's like, because it's an insecurity, it becomes an overindulgence. And and seeing how the world, not the world, but like this, the world I live in, um is quite closely tied with greed, which is an overindulgence based off of the insecurity of lacking. Um, it the only way you can create community, not the only way, but like the only way it feels like you can create community is to spend and overconsume and like get all these things so that you have a reason to talk to people. Sorry, I need to pause. Okay, sorry. I'm still trying to get myself settled and stuff like that. As I said, like I I am still like tired. Like as I was rubbing my eyes earlier, I'm rubbing the sleep out of my eyes. Like I haven't fully woken up, and also sorry for not looking in the camera. Um, I'm trying to figure out what I'm saying. So like I don't keep eye contact with people whenever I talk. So I also can't even do it to myself. um but I think specifically in this moment the reason why I'm like closing my eyes and talking or looking away and talking is because I'm seeing something in my mind's eye, and the only way for me to concentrate on it is if I don't take in any external stimuli, really. Um, so what I was saying, what was I saying? What was I saying? I was saying stuff about overconsumption, obviously. Um, but yeah, consumerism or overconsumption is an insecurity that has been bred by the society that we live in. Um, but the way to combat that, honestly, is I know the thing is, in order to, and it's a long thing, you know, in order to combat the way that we overconsume and need, the, the deep feeling of need in to consume, right? You have to forego all of that in order to correct the entire system, right? So the thing is, it's like you need money in order to do things. That's just how the world is right now. Um, um, but yeah, in order to correct a system, you have to stop giving. We have to stop giving value to money. that's really that's really what it is, because like greed stems from something having a lot of value, which which brings on this energy of wanting to hoard, right? Because that's what greed is. Greed is hoarding. And in order for that to be let go, it has to no longer be seen as something to value. So, once we take the value away from money, it will, just like, money became a big thing once bartering was out of the system, because, like, you can't get a lot of something if you don't trade it of something of equal value, right? Or something you deem as equal value. And value is all dependent on the person. So, if we take away us valuing money, then I'm sorry that I'm talking so slow. If we take away us valuing the money, then money will inherently lose its value. In other words, what I'm saying is just stop paying for shit. Just stop paying. Or like or stop cuz what I really was trying to get to is like stop putting something out in the effort of getting money, right? And I'm not saying this in the context of like people looking for workers and stuff like that, because they are looking for ways to get money. And honestly, that is like, because it's our livelihood, that is just the stance that you have to take. Anyway, I mean, like, if you want to build community, but yeah, honestly, overconsumption is like the opposite of community, which is kind of a roundabout way of what I was getting to. But like, if you want to build community, because people are just exhausted from greed, honestly. People are exhausted from it. If you want to build community, then the events that you have, you can't go into it wanting a profit. Like, that shouldn't be the goal. The goal, you can't have that underlying thing of, oh, I need to make money from this. But that's kind of like how we're pushed to do. I'm doing this because I can make money off of it, right? But in order for you to build a community, you have to forego that, because community isn't about making profit. It's about, or to change the wording, community isn't about making profit monetarily, but profiting in wholesomeness, I guess would be the word. Because, like, I mean, like, being fulfilled in your heart, in your soul, you know? Um, so, yeah, I know that there are, like, laws against it, um, against, like, starting an event without like saying that you're going to be hosting an event and like going through the legal processes of hosting an event. Um, and I know that that is expensive, but that is also the thing where it's just like you should. Oh gosh, it's the thing that I keep on. I completely understand why it's a difficult thing to do, but like that is they have the rules are in place so that community can't be built anymore, because building community means ending systems that have been sustained because we don't know how to talk to each other anymore. And in order for things to change, you either have to work within their system and know the law so well that you can find loopholes in a way that you aren't breaking it. And it's just like that requires a lot of backing and a lot of skill, right? Or you just break them. Either way, you're going to have to break some rules. You're going to have to crack some eggs. You're going to have to burn some bridges in order for things to change. And honestly, so correct. We have gone too soft. We have gone too soft. We have been too scared. And it's just like, yes, use your anger as a vessel, but it's one thing to just be angry and sit in the angry, and it's another thing to be proactive and resolved. And again, this is the year of the fire horse. If that isn't just lighting a fire under your butt and charging forward and doing something, then like, what are you waiting for? Like, clearly the laws are suppressing a lot. Clearly these things aren't working for anybody in anybody's favor except for the people who it works for and has always worked for. So it's like, why still follow them? Why still follow them? And it's back to, and like, I could hear every single thing that I'm saying. I could hear like the still fear based responses to it. And at the end of the day, I'm just like, okay, so, and and it's like, because the first thing that comes to mind is Martin Luther King and Ruby Bridges and like, the segregation times, and where they weren't afraid to get incarcerated. And like, not to quote Shrek and Lord Farquaad, some of you may die, but that is the sacrifice I am willing to make. I am willing to risk my own life, right? um, like, for a better world. I'm not saying that you should, because this is another argument that I've had to like rehash to myself, kind of. Um, Actually, let me just say this because it's like kind of I've rehashed it with myself, but like, if you want to get a general census, and this is really what I this is what I use AI for, arguing, because it is bound by the laws created by those who work within the system and has the information of the masses and the general opinion, sometimes which are sometimes wrong, of the masses that it has been fed, right? So then when you are arguing humanitarian stuff and hearing the reasons not to, you can, I use it so that I could like reinforce my own views and see not necessarily how I could convince another person, but so I can understand a little bit as to how to Hmm. Hold on. I'm trying to arrange my words. Um. Okay. So what I'm doing here, right, is me trying to find what my argument is, right? And this is me workshopping it. When I am like it's much more difficult to say it out loud without like a rehearsal beforehand because I don't know, like I know what point I'm trying to get to. I don't know what words to get there. And so I take these big pauses so that I could gather together what it is I'm trying and want to say, while and with humanness people are going to want to interject, which is literally what I said at the beginning of this video about how in the dream people were interrupting me, but they were still saying stuff that I had either just said or something I was going to get to, right? So like these big pauses are me trying to gather the words to explain what I'm trying to get to. And I could get rid of the middleman of someone being ignorant, kind of like without being interrupted, so I don't have another thing that I have to think of to that I have to explain because it's in text and I could take my time and like it's patient in that way, you know. AI doesn't respond unless it's talked to. Um but with every thought, I do think of, because you know that's how protection works. With every thought, I think of how it could be perceived, how it could be responded to, and I think of responses based off of that. Which is why if you see me in like a comment section under a place, a lot of the time I do come forward with a point of confusion, but I would also explain I'm not talking about this so that you don't get confused. I'm not like disagreeing with you. I'm not arguing with you, but I am also going to say like this is like a standpoint. Um I will I will do that where I will also like try to leave as little room for misinterpretation. um but basically I'm like people are already thinking about, cuz you know it is a hard thing, and just like me starting to do these videos, I'm gonna use that as an example because like talking out loud and talking about these things was like never something I would fully it was never something that I would fully express. I would never like actually talk or go into deep conversations with people unless I was high. Um and didn't have those inhibitions, you know. I just but then you know, getting over that hump, posting that first video, even though it was a mess. Like I'm still anxious before every video, as you can tell. Like my intro, I'm like when I come in, but like now I'm pretty lax, and I'm still anxious when I talk, but I'm doing it anyway. And it's like a lot of people have still been stuck in this fear of the repercussions because they have been shown what the repercussions can lead to. But at the same time, I have taken on this manner of, okay, I can deal with that repercussion. Sure, yes, it is a repercussion that is feared, and I know that I will be afraid, but I have already thought about it, thought about how much it would hurt, and I'm okay with taking that pain because I have dealt with worse. And frankly, all of this is worse. Like, oh no, we could go into the incarceration system. We could die, we could get really hurt and get shot. But like, if we don't fight back, what then, right? Then it will just continue. Then it will get worse. And that is the thing with um DV, right? I'm probably gonna have to flag this video because I talk about so many things. But that is the thing about DV, where it's like you start off and they test your limits, test how much you allow them to push you. Um and then it just escalates because the fear of what they could do keeps you. But it's like they are doing what they could do to you. That's the thing. They are already doing it. It's just, so it's like, what's the worst? What's the worst that could happen? That if you just stop listening. And the thing is, I have always been this kind of person. Um Not necessarily, I wouldn't say that I was rebellious uh to a degree, but like when it came to like repercussions, I did fear it, and I did fear like the confrontation of the repercussions of my actions. Um but then like it gets to a point. It gets to a point, and my point has been reached many a time. And I just went through with the thing of, what if I just stop? What if I just stop caring? So you're gonna do this thing, okay, so do it. And the thing is, they almost never follow through when you say, so do it. So do it. For a period of time, one of my favorite what's it called, quotes, I guess. But it's like my favorite series of events. It's this news anchor, and the black news anchor and the white guy was complaining about saying how often the N-word is said. And then the black man's just like, so say it. You want to say it so bad, so say it. I'll say it with you. Because it's like, if you clearly you want something. You want me to change something, but you won't say it. Right, right. But yeah, I don't know how. I was just gonna say this is spirit led, man. Spirit led. Because I don't know. I don't know whether I would have gotten this deep if I had spoken on it yesterday. I think it would have been too fresh in my mind, that answer that I had given about the loneliness of um being a consumer, and like I would have dwelt on the individual, on the majority feeling, right? But I guess today I'm invigorated. Ooh, I just needed that. Okay, so the thing with me is that usually it's either I am reflecting, it's either I am reflecting the weather, or the weather is reflecting me. And yesterday was rainy. I did cry yesterday. It was not necessarily a joyful cry, but it was an appreciative cry. And it was rainy. But today it's a sunny day, you know? And actually I'm gonna have to end the video here because I do want to get outside and work out a little bit while the sun's out. And so I'm gonna leave you guys with this. Your homework, because I'm doing it, is to go outside and touch grass and, I don't know, do something kind today. Uh and that's your homework. A challenge. Don't spend any money today. Don't spend a single dime today. Okay? And that's it for today's video. Thank you. And if you watch to the end, I love you. Goodbye.